Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's session of The Hypnotist, I'm continuing my hypnosis sessions based on random words. If you're listening to this episode, chances are you've already heard a previous one by now, so I won't go over the premise here, but let's just summarize it by saying this hypnosis session I haven't prepared for in any way. It will just be a representation of the random words and emotions that come up. So for those watching on YouTube, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And the location that has come up here is Guanajuato, if I'm pronouncing the J right in Spanish, Guanajuato. In Mexico. Let's see about Guanajuato. Guanajuato is a city in central Mexico and is the capital city of the state bearing the same name. It's about 250 miles northwest of Mexico City. The name of the city means place of frogs in the local indigenous language, and therefore the frog is the city's official pet. That might fuse into the hypnosis here. It's a beautiful mountain colonial town. Many tourists and locals consider this city to be the most beautiful in Mexico. It used to be a major silver mining town. Again, that might fuse into things. And many of the mines are still active. Obviously, silver is a precious, valuable metal. The city is built on very hilly ground, so virtually every point in the city is on a slant. The city has a network of underground tunnels, that's interesting, that serve as roads, making this place unique in the world. All right, so this is fascinating. So you've got a beautiful hilly town with silver mines and underground tunnels.
Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox.
So if you're listening to that, that's what's known as a pattern interrupt in the realm of hypnosis. If you're watching on YouTube, you probably saw my reaction to that. And that's because a previous recorded session started playing at the very point where I wasn't expecting it. And that's part of what makes a pattern interrupt work. So those watching on the video probably saw me jump out of my skin at that point. I'm not going to edit that because this is recorded as live. It's just adds to the randomness to this whole thing. So going back to Guanajuato, this looks like an interesting town. Let's go to the random emotion word. We're going to randomly generate two emotions, gratitude and remorse. So I quite like this one, remorse. Gratitude and variations of it, like appreciation, has come up a couple of times. It's one of my favorite emotions, but remorse hasn't. So remorse, I think, is such an important and underrated emotion when you think about moving forward, because without remorse, an apology is virtually worthless. Any life lesson is virtually meaningless, because unless you really feel some element of regret or remorse around previous behavior, how can you really move on? So I really like that one. We'll fuse that into the session. 3 random nouns, as, pierce, and official. So pierce as in a piercing, and official as in official. As is a word that comes up quite a lot in hypnosis anyway, because it links one thing to another. So something along the lines of, as you listen to my voice, notice your body getting deeper, relaxed. So as, I think, would probably naturally be in the session, even if it wasn't a randomly generated word. Again, I've got my hourglass timer here, so I'm going to have that It's about 15 minutes, so I won't kind of stick to that, kind of very rigorously, but approximately about 15 minutes worth of hypnosis. Right, let's get going with the hypnosis. If you are listening to this with the view of experiencing hypnosis, I'd say find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Feel free to close your eyes at the point where I suggested. If you're just kind of listening to this more from an observational or kind of background thing, then of course don't close your eyes and just kind of see if you pick up on any suggestions that you find useful. All right, let's get on with it. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, just imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allowing tension and any stress to leave your body. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, if it's safe to do so, on the very next outward breath, allow your eyelids to close. And as you do so, notice that somehow it becomes easier and easier to pay attention to my voice and bring your attention and concentration inwards rather than outwards. The outside world is still there, but your focus and concentration is now on your inner world, the world of your imagination. And sometimes it's helpful to think of imagination as the equivalent to a screen on a computer. It's the interface, the bridge, if you will. Because so much of your life is determined by what happens unconsciously. Isn't it useful to be able to make changes, subtle changes in your unconscious mind that then gradually, incrementally enable your life to have more of what you want and less of what you don't. As your physical body gets deeper and deeper relaxed now, I don't know if you're in a trance or not in a trance, or if you were in a trance, how you'd know if you were in a trance or not. All I know is that as you listen to my voice, it becomes easier and easier to allow your imagination to go on an adventure. And I wonder what it would be like if that adventure took you all the way to Mexico. Imagine what it would be like to be in the most beautiful town in Mexico. Perhaps you don't even need to know the name of this town. But let's just say if you did, it might have the name Guanajuato, a place up in the hills north of Mexico City. A beautiful town with beautiful views, sunshine, the occasional fluffy white cloud, and lots of hills. And I want you to get a sense of being in a hot, beautiful town with brightly coloured buildings, old churches, happy people, smiling faces. I want you to get a sense that in this place, what makes it unique is the underground tunnels all throughout this town, echoing back to its days when it was a thriving silver mining town. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to find some kind of stairwell into an ancient mining shaft accessing this network of underground tunnels. In fact, I will count downwards from 10 to 1, and you will imagine going down this ancient stairwell into the old mine shafts of Guanajuato. 10, taking the steps down into the stairwell. 9, as you do so, finding yourself go deeper and deeper and deeper relaxed. 8, finding it easier to breathe in and out through your nose. That's it. 7, tension leaving your neck and your shoulders. And 6, finding that your arms and legs are getting heavier or perhaps lighter. 5, feeling that you can breathe so deeply in and deeply out that your lungs just relax deeply now. That's it. 4, deeper and deeper, relaxed. Yes. 3, finding that your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And 2 and 1, finding that your imagination becomes more alert as your physical body gets deeper and deeper, relaxed. There you are, now 1, 0. There you are in this ancient network of tunnels that used to transport perhaps the old rocks and rubble, maybe even findings of silver in the heyday of this silver mining town. And I want you to get a sense that tunnels are a bit like life, in the sense that throughout life there are choices, decisions to make, and you don't fully know where those choices and where those decisions will take you. You do know that many times in your life you can't make simultaneous decisions that take you into 2 different futures at exactly the same time. So there is always an element of sacrifice. Whenever you choose one thing over another, you're sacrificing the possible experiences of the other choice, the life lessons, the potential payoff, in exchange for what you may achieve with the other decision. And I want you to think of life as a network of tunnels based on the idea of gratitude and perhaps remorse. Sometimes throughout life you make choices and decisions that either in the moment or perhaps after, with the benefit of hindsight, there is regret. And isn't it interesting that the most wisdom comes when you learn a lesson from those choices that with the benefit of hindsight you wouldn't have made again, attached to a feeling. And sometimes that's not even a nice feeling. Sometimes guilt or remorse is necessary because it's almost the equivalent of picking up something hot and burning your fingers. Without the pain, you may go and do it again. But with that pain comes a lesson that makes it easier to avoid choices like that again. And as you think back through the tunnels that you've traveled so far in life, I want you to get a sense that you could be grateful for those good choices that have taken you to a place where you're happy with, but also you could feel remorse for those things in life that if you could go back and make that same choice, left or right, one tunnel versus another tunnel, maybe you would make a different choice now. Because when bad things happen, and perhaps mistakes are made, it's only a bad thing if you don't learn something from the experience. I want you to get a sense that so long as you learn something, perhaps backed up by the pain of remorse to remind you to really learn that lesson, isn't it the case that as you go through the tunnels, the network of life, You either win and you're grateful, or you learn and you get to make better choices in the future. As you go through these network of tunnels under this beautiful town of Guanajuato, I want you to decide that you are the official in your life. In many jobs and occupations, and perhaps throughout life, you see officials, people often wearing uniforms or in places of authority. And sometimes they get to decide the choices that you make, where you sit, when you can go, what you can do. But generally speaking, in a lot of life, you are the official. You get to make the decisions. And sometimes it's difficult to make decisions when there are so many different variables, so many different connotations. But I want you to create the idea that you have clarity, such clarity that you can pierce through the confusion, the fog of indecisiveness and start making decisions. And as you make those decisions, notice that you build a conviction that as long as you go with that decision in a spirit of congruency and positivity, you'll either be grateful for the outcome of that decision or wiser because of the life lessons you've learned from something that maybe there is a hint of remorse in making that decision. And you continue to go through these tunnels, and then suddenly you find an old tunnel that nobody's seen in a while. And there it is. There it is, just a big pile of ancient silver, perhaps mined from 100 or 200 years before, hidden just behind the side of a tunnel that people haven't chose to visit in a while. This silver is valuable, perhaps worth thousands and thousands, if not more. And I want you to get a sense that you only find things of value by being willing to take action and make choices, not knowing if the choices are going to be right or wrong, good or bad, but by making the choices. You're living life, exploring all the different tunnels, and sooner or later you find something of value. And then accept this suggestion, that as you pierce through the fog of confusion in your life, become the official in your life. Hunt out opportunities to be grateful. And really learn when life makes you feel remorseful. Then sooner or later, the silver in your life will come up more frequently, giving you even more opportunity for gratitude. And as you accept these suggestions to be true, I want you to now imagine going back with that silver, returning to the surface under the sunshine of Guanajuato. You feel like you've left those tunnels wiser than when you entered. And you've returned with something of value, even if that value is not silver, but the insight of how to pierce through the fog and confusion of your life. And you be the official, the director, the navigator. And then you realize all of this is just your imagination taking you on an adventure. And find yourself back in the present, listening to my voice firmly in the present as you take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, get a sense of being firmly, firmly in the present right now. Because very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling very optimistic, very positive about the future, with a sense of gratitude and taking all of life lessons from those moments in your past where you've ever felt remorse. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Thanks for watching that. That was, I found that quite an interesting one. I found it was quite useful to kind of use the tunnel system under this kind of beautiful Mexican town as kind of a metaphor for life's choices. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please give the episode a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Only around about 30% of the people that access my content are current subscribers, so that always helps the old YouTube algorithm to find bigger audiences. So if you could do that, that would be appreciated. And if you have any suggestions for any other things that I could introduce as a random variable, any topics that I could cover, or just any feedback on the show is really appreciated. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.